Now, I don't do politics on this channel. I do dabble when the occasion calls for it. Censorship of games, censorship in the UK. So when I woke up on Thursday to the news of the assassination of Charlie Kirk, I had no intention of making a video about it because it has nothing to do with what this channel is about. And then I saw some game devs react to that news. And I got mad. So let's talk about the disgusting, hypocritical, vile human beings that are thriving in the gaming industry that we love. And I will be naming and shaming people. So don't harass or go after them. Just share this video or videos from other creators, or share the info yourself and call out this ridiculous behaviour in the gaming industry. Now, let's talk about it. So on Wednesday, the 10th of September, Charlie Kirk was assassinated while he was doing one of his debates at a university in Utah. It is awful. My heart goes out to his family. I can't even imagine how they're feeling because they were there apparently. A tragic event that will live with them for the rest of their lives. At the time of recording, they still haven't caught the assailant. So let me put this as simply as I can. A man was killed because he voiced his opinions. A man was killed because he was a voice for the right wing. A man was killed because he said things that hurt people's feelings. A man was killed because he was influencing the young minds of tomorrow. He went to universities across America and challenged what those same universities were teaching to their students. He gave the younger people a different viewpoint from what the universities were telling them, and he was successful. At each university he went to, there were people out there supporting him. He was making a difference in the culture war and in politics as a whole. And all of that is what got him killed. Ultimately, something like this was going to happen, whether it was him or a different content creator. I know he was more than that. He did a lot more than just the content, but the content is what got him famous. But it could have been a number of other creators who voiced the same opinions, or any opinion the left doesn't like. Now, I say something like this was bound to happen because how many content creators have we seen call for violence? Call for a hit on someone?
Oh, holy shit, guys. If you live in Florida, I have an opportunity for you. If you want to earn $100,000, let me know.
Say that someone should kill another content creator just because they have different opinions.
30K to anyone who'll make this dipshit disappear and make Eve's breasts bigger. Okay, you have to do both. Alright? Because then it's a win-win for me. And I don't have to see that moron on my timeline anymore.
And all it takes is one unhinged, deranged, lunatic viewer to take that at face value and just do it. Yet the platforms that these things were being said on did nothing. They say the same stuff again, still nothing. Tectone calls an overweight woman fat, 2-week ban. 2 weeks. It was always very clear to me that one side of the aisle could say what they want, wave a gun around on camera as a threat. It was just never condemned, ever. Or was it a one-day ban? Death threats get thrown around casually on X to people like Grums and Asmongold and Charlie Kirk. Like it's just a normal thing to do. Never condemned by larger figures in that space. Mainstream media, it's the same thing. Riots, violence, painting people as Nazis or bigots for having an opposing opinion. Never condemned. Mostly ignored or encouraged. Don't forget they tried to say Elon Musk was doing the salute. They demonized the other side because they can't refute what the other side is saying. The other side, by the way, praying for Charlie Kirk instead of seeking violent retribution. So naturally, when something like what happened to Charlie Kirk happens, mainstream media does the only option they see, apparently, and deflect. It could have been a MAGA supporter shooting in celebration.
We don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this.
Yeah, the guy running across the rooftop supports that theory, sure. Well, when you say things that are hateful, what do you expect to happen?
One of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
That guy lost his job, by the way. When TMZ heard about it, there was laughter and cheering.
Janet, go.
Now, apparently that was because they were reacting to a car chase. Sure. Democrats didn't even want to do a minute's silence for him. There will be no accountability and they will continue to demonize him even in death. And of course, lefties all over social media are celebrating this like it's the death of the second coming of a certain dictator. I mean, look at this guy immediately after it happens. Psychopath. Here's some of the clips of great human beings.
Yes, he deserves to die and I hope he burns in hell.
Let's all join hands and bow our heads in thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers for Charlie Kirk. Thoughts and prayers, thoughts and prayers.
By the sword, died by the sword. He did say that gun deaths were an acceptable side effect of gun rights.
We got Charlie in the neck. Who's up next? We got Charlie in the neck.
Normal reaction to this, absolutely. Keep going, you're only radicalizing the other side. Stoking the flames. Big brains. Massive brains. And Charlie Kirk knew this and even told everyone about it. Assassination culture is spreading on the left. 48% of liberals say it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon Musk. 55% said the same about Donald Trump. In California, activists are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. Proved right in the worst way possible. I'm not even surprised, to be honest. And this is where the Western games industry shows its true activist colours. That it's deep-rooted in the leftist machine. Thanks to Grums, Legacy Killer and Madam Savvy and many more for finding these absolute rats. So a Sucker Punch dev by the name of True retweeted this post. He died doing what he loved, being a transphobic, racist bigot. And then followed it up with her very own. I hope the shooter's name is Mario so that Luigi knows his bro got his back. That is a senior developer at Sucker Punch mocking the death of Charlie Kirk. Now I've talked about Sucker Punch and their spiral into being an activist studio before. Hiring Veilguard writers, hiring the man-hating activist to play the lead, replacing a great male character. I'm just a conspiracy theorist, they said. I'm just a grifter, they said. Yeah? Well, look now. Need any more proof of deranged leftist activist behaviour? You do? Okay. How about this one? I have been told that the Twitter has noticed me from across the room. Ooh woo. Maybe instead of emailing people's employers, y'all should be emailing your reps and demand gun control immediately. Yes, it was the gun's fault. Now it makes sense. Now obviously I can't shit on the whole studio. No, wait, yes I can. Because imagine how confident this person is to share this on a public platform. How confident she is to share this opinion with friends and colleagues. Confidence in her job security. Nah, the entire studio can go f*** themselves. This leftist ideology runs deep in the Western games industry. They're all friends on Blue Sky. They all look out for each other. They all think that gamers are degenerate idiots. They hate gamers and want to change gaming culture. They hate anyone who leans center to right. Sucker Punch hired this person. They know what kind of person this is. Oh, and look, Kelly Snyder, senior producer at Sucker Punch, liked the tweet. The senior producer. Huh. That's interesting, isn't it? Now I said I was gonna give Ghosts of Yotei a chance. Yeah, f*** that, not anymore. Not buying it, not playing it. Do not care if it turns out good. I'm not playing a game developed by these people. There are some other devs on that list of likes too. Lee Cash, senior producer at the Coalition. No shocker there why Gears has sucked since Gears of War 4. If I hadn't have already bought it, I wouldn't have bought Gears of War Reloaded. But let's face it, they didn't develop anything. They just sold a game made by better devs. Gears of War E-Day won't be buying that. The Coalition shouldn't be anywhere near that IP anymore anyway. The Gears of War franchise has been dying for the last decade. Dennis, sound effects producer at Bungie. As if I needed confirmation that Bungie had people like this working for them. And as if I needed another reason not to touch a Bungie product again. XIB or Jib, producer at MTG Arena. Yeah. No, thank you. There's probably more on this list, but at least they have the sense to not include what they do in their bios. I'm sure the internet will find out though, but here's some more for you. Head of English localization for Square Enix Final Fantasy XIV. Kate here is upset that Blue Sky was cracking down on hateful Charlie Kirk posts. Discord server for indie devs The Fainted Room was also celebrating it. A producer at Bethesda reposting some very questionable things. You can also add some employees of Blizzard to this list as well. I won't be buying any game that these people work on because this is disgusting behaviour. Now don't forget that this is the very same industry that will exile you for being a Trump supporter. Condemn a vote, but not the celebration of an assassination. Okay, Congrats, Western games industry, because you just outed yourselves for being the very thing that we've all been saying that you were for years. Leftist activists that hate everyone that doesn't think like them, want to force their ideology into every game, every franchise, hate opposing views, hate gamers that call you out on this. And let's be honest, they hate gaming culture and everything about it, and want to change it. If they knew who I was, they'd hate me, just like they hate Grums, just like they hate Asmongold. Anyone who doesn't think like them. I'm tired of the Western games industry and how it's turned into a leftist cesspit of propaganda, and trying to change gaming culture. They're not passionate about games, they're passionate about the message, and celebrating the assassination of someone from the right wing. That is just evil. This is why I love free speech, because without it, we wouldn't have got these gems. We wouldn't have seen these people for exactly what they are. Although I am not surprised at all, really. I am very angry, though. And all of this just motivates me more to call it out for what it is, make more videos, to call them out for what they are. The Western games industry needs to change. It needs these people out of it. A cleansing, a non-violent cleansing of people that think this way, that celebrate someone's death. These people shouldn't be in this industry. It's evil behaviour. Their ideology has clearly taken over the sensible part of their brains. The problem is these game studios can't cleanse their studios without completely going under and having no staff. And you know what? I'm fine with that. I hope they do go under. You support these people. You give them jobs, a platform to spurt out their political message on existing IPs that have nothing to do with that message. Yeah. I hope they go under. That would be fantastic. She has now been fired, by the way. Good for her. This changes nothing, as I just said. Still not buying the game. Sucker Punch haven't made a statement. Clearly doing this because of the pressure and not because it's wrong. Now, finally, surely the journalists will be talking about this, right? They will be calling out the devs for this sort of behaviour. This is despicable. Wait. No, they're celebrating it themselves. Here's Jeff Grubb reposting this. Anti-vaxxer finally gets shot. Ash Paris, former Kotaku writer, wrote this. Live by the something something. Zach Sweezen, current Kotaku writer, shared an article trying to point out the irony of Charlie Kirk's death. Like an idiot. Oh, and by the way, Kotaku dropped this article. Ghosts of Yote dev fired for Charlie Kirk joke after right-wing pressure campaign. Once again, she mocked him before his body was cold. This is exactly the problem. Political violence is fine. Something to make jokes of hours after it happens. It's encouraged. Calling out devs for disgusting behaviour? Nah, that's a bad thing to do according to the journalists of our industry. So don't expect journalists to call out anything. They're all on the same boat. And to all of those people that still think I'm a conspiracy theorist, that I'm a grifter, how much more proof do you need? Extreme activists are in the industry you love and you're fine with that. You are part of the problem. Wake up! I only think this escalates from here. The Western world is at a boiling point. Yeah, this won't end well. It's only radicalizing people more. And whatever the shooter, or who was behind the shooter, was trying to accomplish, will ultimately fail. Wanted to silence him. They failed. His message will only get louder, and there will be hundreds more just like him born from this. Congrats! It's just sad, and it's tragic. Asmongold is using his X community to hold these people accountable, so if you want to keep up to date with that, head over there. Look after yourselves, my American brothers and sisters. If you've made it this far into the video, before you subscribe, you should know that I'm usually more energetic and jokey. That approach didn't seem appropriate for this video, so I'd watch another before you consider sticking around. The humour isn't for everyone. I'll see you in the next one.